Pat, I still love you.
Pat,
what are you doing? Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones. Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dolan.
That was a low. I'm Brian.
I'm Brian.
I'm thirsty.
I'm ready for some Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
In this episode of A Beer with Atlas,
That's pretty good.
3 guys, 1 beer.
Yeah.
That's a bad start. That's a bad start. I apologize.
To be clear, we each have our own 1 beer.
There we go. I was going to apologize to Empyrean Brewing in Lincoln, Nebraska. But,
They'll love it.
So from Empyrean Brewing Company, 729 Q Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, we have Aries Marzen
Yeah.
Oktoberfest.
That's it. This is the one.
I've had my share of Empyrean beers before. They've been around for
Since about 1990.
a long time.
Yeah.
1990.
Long time.
Yeah.
Got a little. I've got a little history on them too.
Okay.
If we'll get to that. So, on their website, this is directly off their website. Here, they have the most interesting hours, I think, out of all of them.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is because Laszlo's still offers their beer, right?
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5.
Okay.
Closed Saturday and Sunday. That's what it says on their website. I don't know. I thought that was odd.
I think it is odd too.
So, but
Because
maybe because Laszlo's offers.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, but okay, we'll roll with it.
On their website, everything we are today started with one simple goal in 1990, to provide Lincoln with the best food and beer in Nebraska. There you go. Easy. And 1990, they were the only game in town.
Wow.
Well, you want
Right?
some backstory on
Heck
those guys?
yeah.
All right,
Heck yeah.
so my father-in-law graduated from East High. I think it was in 81.
Lincoln East.
Yes.
Yep.
And the guys that started this place went to school with him. And after they graduated high school, they decided they wanted to move to California and work at a brewery
Okay.
and like a restaurant. That was their dream. They wanted to open up like a brew pub.
Okay.
And everybody was like, what?
Yeah.
Make your own beer? What? We got Budweiser, Miller
Yeah.
Lite. Why?
Miller
what?
Lite tastes
No.
great, less filling. What are you going to do that for?
So they moved away to California.
Oh, they got that beef here, right?
Yeah.
And so they were just like, screw it.
So
we're
they
going.
went to go where this place was. There weren't any of these around. There was in California.
Right.
It might have been
Anchor,
Russian River,
Anchor Russian River,
or Sierra Nevada. It was someplace like one of those 3, I believe.
Nice.
I don't know if my father-in-law remembers or not.
Awesome.
But they were gone for like 3 or 4 years. They learned how to run a restaurant. They learned how to do beer stuff. They learned all the stuff that you need to know, and then they came back. And here we are. Opened the first brew pub in Nebraska.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that was like 88 or 89, I think it started. And then they first were open for business in 90.
I wrote it in 1991. They opened Laszlo's at 710 P Street in Lincoln. It was the first Nebraska brew pub.
Now that place, see, that's maybe what you're talking about is hours for like something like a tap room or something you can buy beer. Because this is downtown in the Haymarket.
Yep.
And that the Laszlo's is open all the time, and especially on game days. And there's a south location that's by my in-laws' house now.
All right, let me ask you about that, because this is the last update they had on their website. In 2020, through historic preservation credits, because that's a historic part of town, right? Right
Down in the Haymarket, yeah.
In the Haymarket area, right? They broke ground on a new brewery and tap room, South Haymarket.
Yeah, that's still going on.
Is
I
that
think.
okay?
Yeah.
They haven't built it yet. Like, it's not done yet.
No, the one that's south in Lincoln is southeast. It's on Highway 2. So if you go to like 84th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, if you're heading towards Kansas City on Highway 2,
Oh yeah.
you'll go right past it. And it used to be like a building that was like a wood-fired restaurant. That was the whole theme that they built it by.
Interesting.
And I can't remember what the name of it was called, but they spent like $2 million on this building. Like the interior is amazing. It's all stone, and
That is
it's
awesome.
got like a lodge feel to it. And then that business went out of business. Okay. And Laszlo's was like, we'll buy this for pennies on the dollar.
Yes.
And they did.
Yep.
And it's been their second location for, I don't know, 15 years probably at least.
Wow.
So that's...
Is there a Laszlo's here in Omaha now?
There is.
There is, yeah.
I'll bring that up. It's in
Okay.
the...
Oh, cool.
It's in the timeline.
All right.
here.
Let's hit the timeline.
All right, so 1991, they opened Laszlo's, 710 P Street, first Nebraska brew pub. That year, they sold 15,500 gallons of beer. That's it.
That's still the most in Nebraska.
1991.
I was going to say, that's
right?
it? Question mark?
I'm a junior in high school, right?
Yeah.
1991. That the last thing on my mind at that point is right craft beer.
I was trying to collect the yellow Fleer baseball card set in 1991. That's what I was doing. Sixth grade.
Yeah. Let's see, 1997, Empyrean splits from and becomes their own financial entity outside of Laszlo's. So if you're from Nebraska and you know, like Laszlo's and Empyrean are kind of attached to the hip, right? But Empyrean Brewing is completely separate. As of 1997, completely separate from Laszlo's.
Okay.
1998, capacity increased to 77,500 gallons. That's still a ton of beer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. 1999, they began bottling their own for distribution. And if you've ever been to a grocery store here in the Omaha Lincoln area, you've seen their logo. You've seen the I don't even know what do you even call that? It's like the sun.
I'll
with
tell you.
like,
I got that
you got
information.
that?
Oh.
Yeah. We'll get to that then.
It's like element sign for something.
2005, ground is broken on a West Omaha location, so 192nd and Center, approximately. So not far from my house. So
I've been there once, and that was when I first moved here. That was like 15 years ago, or 14, something like that. And that felt like that was a drive to a different place. Like there was nothing out there back then. Now it's in the middle of town almost.
Yep. I mean, there's an
crazy.
Aldi over there now. One of the biggest Walmarts in town. Like one of the most used Walmarts.
Busiest one? Yeah.
Walmarts is right out there. And then as you keep going, right? I mean, the Zipline tap room's not too far from there too, and that type of thing. That year, 2005, they broke 100,000 gallons sold.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. That's pretty damn good. So, and then 2020, they broke ground on that spot out there in South Haymarket.
When I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and about 3 or 4 years later, my dad got remarried, and he married into a great family.
Okay.
And my step-grandfather was a brigadier general for the Nebraska National Guard.
Okay.
And he was a military dude. And my step-grandma was like part of the Downtown Business Association.
All right.
And they owned a lot of properties down there. And one of the buildings they owned was the building that's in Laszlo's was in. So
Interesting.
They
Okay.
had a beer that was called Lou Gale's Gold, named after my grandma and my grandpa.
Nice.
Put their names together. Now it's known as Chaco Canyon, so it's still around, but it was just like a lager, basically. You know. And I remember going as a kid to this place we'd go there for like special occasions and lunches and holiday things.
Yep.
Because they knew my grandparents, and we'd go there, and that would be what my dad would get. Was that Chaco Canyon, but it was called Lou Gale's Gold back in those days. So that's like 92. Wow. 93.
Holy cow.
They have an amazing barbecue bacon cheeseburger. They are known for their garlic mashed potatoes.
Okay.
They have a creamy garlic dipping sauce that is so good. They have a t-shirt that you can buy that just references the garlic dip.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this will come up. The garlic dip comes up
Really?
in the Tripadvisor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I read them like, well, that's kind of weird, but I'll bring. We'll talk,
so there's
we'll
a
talk about
t-shirt
it.
that's all about
A little bit
Put that
of
in the back of your
foreshadowing.
mind.
So
Yeah.
here's some of the other beers that they got. They've got a lot.
Yeah.
Here's the year-round beers. These are the standard, whatever they've got all the times. Burning Sky, which is their Scottish ale.
That's Scotch ale.
That's good.
Oh boy, yeah.
Long Route Peanut Butter Porter. Third Stone Brown. That was my father-in-law's favorite beer until he found the Oso Cafe at Pine 9.
I want to say that beer won some awards.
It very well could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like a brown ale, that's one of the best ones. Dark Side Vanilla Porter. That one's always, I like to get that one in the wintertime.
I like their label on that one too.
Watchman IPA. That came out in 2011. I had this recently when I went to the music festival that had Wilco at it, which is the Sun Slinger. It's their session low-cal pale ale.
Oh.
Had 90 calories. It's like 3.8 ABV or 4.2, something like that.
No kidding.
And they had cans of that at the concert I went to. So.
Good bitterness still, like from pale.
Yeah, you still got the flavor and none of the booze.
That was Outlandia. Was that outdoors?
It was. Down by the river.
Outdoors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was hot as heck.
Perfect beer for that.
It worked.
Yeah?
It worked okay. Fallen Angel, that's their sweet stout. And then those are the main ones right there. And then we've got some...
Like the Poison song, Fallen Angel?
Exactly like that, I guess.
All right.
I don't know the song, but...
in my head it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have seasonals. So there's that one. There's one that's called Winter Wisdom, which is a hazelnut brown.
Oh.
Which I bet is pretty good. I
Yeah.
don't know that I've ever had that. And then we have this one, the Aries, which we've got the Tettinger hops again. Remember that from last week?
I do.
So it was Tettinger and Pearl hops in this beer, Vienna and Cara Munich malts. So those are some of the same ones. This beer's got 28 IBU and 5%, so kind of low for an Oktoberfest.
Still, okay, so if you compare it to last week's, slightly more bitter.
Slightly more bitter and less alcohol.
Interesting.
By about a percentage, I think.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Oh, they have this other series of beers. This is what they call Carpe Bruum. Mm-hmm. And that's even more limited than the seasonal. So this is like small, super small batch. When you're the size of this place, I guess they do these. One of the ones they have is Zookeeper Kolsch. They have a mango milkshake IPA. Petite Flambe. I was like, what is that? I've never seen of it. Rum barrel aged Weizenbach. Where are you going to find that?
Weird.
I don't know.
That's weird.
They have a seasonal, if you go with like the actual seasons, like autumn and spring and summer, hazy IPAs.
Okay. Oh.
Fall, spring, and summer. But in the wintertime, here comes the chocolate cinnamon stout.
Yeah.
So those are like 4 packs, I believe they sell them in.
Okay.
They used to do a contest, and I don't know if they still do it or not, but back in my homebrew days with the Lincoln Loggers, you could sign up and you'd go to the place. They would give you ingredients. You'd make a beer in the style that they would tell you, and then they would have a contest, and you'd go and get judged. And if you won, they would make your beer in this series.
Nice.
And we did one. It was an IPA competition. And that thing, oh man, it had to have 120 IBUs. I mean, this thing was like the bag when you mow and you dump it out in a glass. It was that. It was too much. It was grassy. We got, I think, 3rd place.
Well, still, 3rd place. It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
But those are the beers they had on their website, which I haven't seen much of. They showed all the beers they've made that they don't make anymore.
Okay.
Counted them up, there's 66.
Wow.
So 66 retired beers. A lot of them were in that small session version, but a lot of them weren't. I mean, when you're around 30 years, you don't make a lot of styles of beer.
I need to explore this brewery a little bit more because the first time I had them was actually in Lincoln. I was having lunch with a nurse, Mike Von Dolen and his nurse, actually. And I had tried the peanut butter porter that they have. That was my first beer from them. And honestly, it's one I stick to. It's pretty good.
I think that was one that when Old Chicago was down there, the guy that ran Old Chicago wanted them to make it or something.
Yep.
For like a one-off deal, and it was so good. And it is that good. It's one of the better peanut butter beers I've had. Now I think they make it all the time now.
Yeah, it's my go-to Empyrean beer. But I haven't, when I say go-to, I haven't had a lot of their other beers.
Sure.
The brown is the go-to for me. Like, because, I mean, it is right down the street from us, right? I mean, it's from where I live. Like, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
I go to that Walmart to buy groceries all the time, and so I drive right past it. And so we've been known to... When I moved into our house, Steve Ryan was helping me move, and we went there and had a couple beers afterwards, just because that was it. I mean, there really wasn't any place else. That was the closest place to go. Zipline wasn't open yet. But that brown is a good beer. I've since had the IPA, their mango IPA just recently too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they started. That was one of those limited
Seasonal
Carpe
ones?
Brewums, and now they've pushed it up, and it's a regular.
Really good
all the
mango
time.
flavor. Like a really like you normally it'd be tough to get that mango flavor through, and
Yeah.
it's pretty damn good.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like IPAs, but I like Oktoberfest too.
Let's talk about this beer because it really is. There's a little more caramel flavor to it, maybe than last week's. A little more. It looks darker.
Yeah, it does.
Just in general, it looks darker. But it's weird because you're 5.3% alcohol by volume versus 6% last week on.
Yeah.
And I think as Oktoberfest go, where do they normally fall? Like I think some of them are lower ABV anyway, right?
It's probably a good idea. You know,
When you're drinking
Considering
the
your
big stein
I was
of
gonna
them,
say,
big ones of
or
that.
boots or whatever.
Yeah. I think 5.5 to like maybe you don't want to get to 7.
No.
I mean,
That
then
would
you're
be
talking
way
like
too much.
Doppelbox and that sort of stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
I think 6 is a pretty standard range, I would say, and that's just a tiny bit more than a Bud Light or whatever you're used to. So
Oh, sure.
nothing crazy, and it's not bitter like IPA bitter. And
If you want a little more flavor.
I think we always say these are like gateway beers, and this is definitely one of those.
Yep.
It's got a good sweetness and aroma to it, but not so much that it doesn't last the whole swallow. I would say.
I want to try this on tap now. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to make a point
Well, you
within
can,
the next
probably, yeah.
week or so to make it out there and try it on tap.
So this is a place that I've kind of just taken for granted. Because basically, since I became aware of the world, this has been in my life in some way or another. It's been down the street, or I've been there to eat. So I've never really thought about it or researched them or done anything like that. So I did a little deep dive just on this specific beer and like why is it called Aries and what the symbolism of it means.
Interesting.
Now you asked earlier about this thing on their logo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
So
logo.
what I wrote on that was I took this from their website. It was a quote. It said something like, "Paradise existed at the highest point in the universe." This was a belief back in a long time ago.
Okay.
So you had to get up in the sky, and that's where paradise was.
Oh.
It was within a fiery sphere, and that was called the Empyrean.
Well,
So if you could penetrate the circle of fire, you're in paradise.
Oh.
And that's where the name Empyrean comes from.
See the logo for me, and I don't know if there's any like PC gamers that listen, but I was addicted to what's the game RuneScape.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I played a lot of RuneScape. It's kind of like the same type of game as like maybe like World of Warcraft or something like that.
Starcraft,
Yeah,
any of those, yeah.
And that looks like the air rune, like the air elemental rune in RuneScape.
It could be.
Yeah.
You might be onto something. Here's what I found out. Aries is the first astrological sign in the zodiac, and it originated from the Aries constellation. So
Okay.
up in the sky, right? The month calendar for this time is March 20th through April 20th. That's generally when these beers are brewed.
Right.
And then cellared until Oktoberfest time rolls around. So that, I'm sure, was on purpose. You know, these aren't just accidents that they came up with these things. March 21st is the March equinox. That's when the sun enters the sign of Aries. So if you're into whatever, astrology, astronomy, all those things. It's the first fire sign, Dolan.
Ah,
The
There you
others
go.
are Leo and Sagittarius, and the color of Aries is red. So I'm guessing that's why this ram's skull is on fire.
Is on fire.
yeah, that makes sense.
It looks pretty sweet. Yeah, they have a really cool T-shirt with this design on it.
Nice.
Greek mythology. This is where this comes from. The symbol of the ram is based on, oh boy, that's a word. Chrysomalis. We'll go with that.
Sure.
The flying ram that rescued Phrixus, Phrixus, and Helle, Helle, like the beer.
Yes.
They were the kids of King Athamos. And this flying ram, was the provider of the Golden Fleece. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that.
So this thing flew in and saved these kids, and then flew them back over to this guy named Zeus. And then Zeus was like, "Hey, thanks, kill."
Yeah.
And they were sacrificed.
Yeah, that's what Zeus
Oh,
did.
wow.
That's what it was.
That's what he did.
If you've seen the movie or heard the story of Jason and the Argonauts, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for this magical golden fleece.
Yeah.
So that's where this comes from, and that's what this imagery is, and that's where it all kind of ties back to. So thousands of years ago. But there was all sorts of stories about what this one guy did, Jason, in the quest for this thing. It was
Right.
like one of the, I don't know, it was like the Lord of the Rings of the 2000 BCs. So it's like a lot of adventure. He was swallowed by a dragon. He was, went across the world in boats, and there was a cyclops, and yeah, all these things were happening, and all he wanted to do was get this magic gold.
Why don't we have Cyclops anymore?
Optometrist. I don't know.
Probably.
I'm not sure.
That's a good answer, though. It's a good answer.
I mean, they would just have a monocle. It'd be a big one.
It would be a really big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'd like to see that depicted sometime.
Yeah. I wondered about that. I wondered about the logo on this because as I did my research, they've got great labels anyway. Like it is unmistakable when you see them in the store.
Yep.
It's their beers. Like it's unmistakable.
I think it helps. It's this like cameo design style. Like it's been that way forever.
Yep.
And their T-shirt, like I remember as a kid, my sister worked here when she was in high school.
Yeah.
And I would go in to pick her up or whatever from school or for work, and you'd walk in to put your name in the restaurant, and they'd have their logos on their T-shirts and match the beer perfectly, and they all had a specific color. And in Lincoln, if you saw that in like a second, you'd know, oh, that's Luna ESB Extra Special Bitter.
Yep.
Or that's Chaco Canyon Gold, or whatever. So this is burned into my brain.
Yeah. Here's the other fun part too. So it actually says on the bottle, where here, unfiltered, unpasteurized, no preservatives. Okay. And I know this only because I drink more than my share of Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Sam Adams Oktoberfest, if you buy it now, on the label they mark they got little tick marks right there, good until
the dates, yeah.
Right. And so normally on those, it's either January or February. It depends on when you bought it. The ones in stores right now kind of rotate between January and February. This one actually has a stamp on it. It says Best by 12/24/22. So you got to drink this by the time Christmas Eve rolls around. So I wonder, is that the unpasteurized part?
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Is Sam Adams Oktoberfest pasteurized? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about the process to know. I just know that those beers are good for another 2 months after this beer would be good.
Unless it means maybe Sam Adams makes it a little later in the season. But I would assume that they would want to stick to that February, March time frame like everybody else does.
Sure.
So, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll be drinking Oktoberfest well into January anyway.
You better buy a bunch and stock up.
I will.
Because pretty soon they won't be in the store, which is crazy.
No, I do. My wife looks at me sideways every time I do it. I'm like, nope, trust me. Yeah.
We're going to want these things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just trust me.
We
do need this 12-pack of beer.
Or this 20-pack from Costco that I put in the cart. That's
Right.
real heavy and clinks because it's bottles.
Didn't you just buy the...
Yeah, Polliner. Yeah.
Yes.
Mixed 20-pack.
Yep.
We've drank that on here, haven't we?
The Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
We had it.
Oktoberfest.
Yep.
Yep. That one, yes. Oh, boy, yeah. That one's good.
Yeah,
But
so...
we're knee deep in it already. So there's a good section of wherever you buy beers from that should all be Oktoberfest right now.
Yes.
At least, right? You should have at least a 4-foot section.
Yeah.
Really good places, maybe an 8-foot section.
Maybe
You never
a little
know.
more, yeah.
But at least minimum 4-foot section.
You'll find something.
Absolutely.
They probably got a whole wall over at Beers R Us.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Tripadvisor.
Okay.
Are you ready for this one? I didn't get any terrible reviews on this one. There's a handful.
Okay.
But there are 1,257 reviews out there. So they've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
Still a 4.5 out of 5
Okay.
on 1,257 reviews.
That's pretty good.
Aylin Boyle of Lincoln, Nebraska, no less.
Don't know her, luckily.
Yeah, unfortunately. She just said, what?
That's it?
What? No,
What?
that's the title.
Oh, I thought that was the whole review.
No, that's
I was
just the
like,
title.
dang.
It's like, what? One
That's just-
star.
That's just the title. Here you go. This is a case study in You Don't Know Where You Are.
Oh, boy.
Yep, here we go. The only beer available is what they brew. That out my husband off immediately. Let me read that one more time. That out my husband off immediately.
That out, that put, I bet O and P are close on the keyboard.
That put my husband off immediately. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that out my husband immediately is funnier.
In
Is
30
way-
years, they've never been to this place. Okay.
That's funny.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. The onion rings are very good. However, the garlic dressing is not, N-O-T, capital letters, a substitute for ranch. So, if your story about the garlic thing is true,
Yeah.
right? These people, where have you been living? Are you living under a rock?
I don't know.
I don't
guess
get
they're
it.
They're just scared of
Wow.
new things, is what it sounds like to
Yeah.
me.
Well, they go to Applebee's, maybe.
Maybe.
You know,
Yeah.
they go to the Olive Garden for special occasions.
If you want ranch, go to Runza.
I guess
Oh, really? For real?
Yeah.
that is true. That is true.
Yeah. They got that Southwest Ranch too. It's so good.
Or Amigos. Go
Regular
there and get
ranch,
some
regular ranch.
Nah.
We ordered the walleye, and what a terrible disappointment. The fish, I would wager, was not caught wild and definitely had been frozen. Where are you from? Where are you catching walleye fresh here?
Not around Lincoln. I mean,
Okay.
you might have to.
You'd have to go to the river. I mean, you can. You can catch them.
but not enough to serve a restaurant.
Not enough to, supply a restaurant.
Do you want Missouri River walleye? No.
No. I
No.
don't think I do.
No. The coating tasted like crackers, no seasoning at all. The tartar sauce, however, was unique. So she liked the tartar sauce. It was unique.
Okay.
Okay.
But sometimes that's just, But I think she would have unloaded if she didn't like it.
Yeah, I
You know,
guess
sometimes
so.
unique is a nice way to say something's not good.
I guess so. Okay.
I went to a brewery and they only served beer that they brewed.
That they brewed.
This is
Stupid.
bullshit.
This is why I love them. I love these reviews so much.
Yep.
The baked potato was not the greatest either. Needed cooked longer. Service was okay, not overly friendly or accommodating. I highly doubt will return.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Cool.
Good
Have fun
riddance.
at Applebee's.
Yeah. Go
okay.
get your Bud Light somewhere else.
I remember when Bennigan's was open.
Yeah, barely. But that was
Okay.
over there. You know what? The Bennigan's was real close to the Laszlo's. Laszlo's is still open. Bennigan's isn't.
Bennigan's is not.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with Carlos O'Kelly's.
So it's not
there, but,
location.
Yeah. Those
No.
aren't around no more.
They had a really good margarita back in the day, though. I do remember that. So
All right. So we're probably a few weeks into Husker football.
oh boy.
Probably don't even want to talk about it at this point.
We had to bring it up. I mean, we're in Lincoln, right?
Yes,
Are you
true.
still hung up over that kick?
You know what? Yes. Yes, I am.
Wow, really? Wow.
It changed the whole momentum of
No,
the game.
it did. It did.
The whole game. But also you have to tackle and you have to
You got to play defense.
do those
You gotta-
things.
yeah.
You have to play defense.
And they forgot how to do that. You're not going to win any games letting the other team score 30 points. But that's just me.
Here's my beef. Okay, so I'm not a Husker fan, right? I grew up. My parents were Husker fans. I was born in Nebraska. I get it, but I grew up around the Jayhawks. Obviously, I'm a Kansas Jayhawk fan. So, but here's the thing I remember. At one time, the black shirts were something special,
Yeah.
right?
That was in the 90s.
This defense is garbage.
yeah.
It is, man, and I understand they're kids or whatever, but the black shirt name used to mean something special. That was the elite of the elite in defense in college
yeah.
football.
That used to mean you were going to the NFL.
Take that shit away.
Yeah.
No more. Stop
Not unless
it.
you earn it.
Retire it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Nebraskans don't let it go. They
We
don't.
love tradition.
We love tradition. That's
it's-
why we've been sold out for.
But it's meaningless.
It
is
is
at
this point.
absolutely
Yeah.
meaningless.
Yeah, there's not anybody on that defense that I have fallen in love with
No.
yet. But you know what? It's early.
Again,
I'll give them a chance.
they're kids. I get it, or whatever. But at the same time,
they're kids that get free schooling and
Yeah.
can
No,
make
I
money
know.
on it too.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
just my flip side
Yep.
thing because I hear my friends say that too. So
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, black shirts used to mean something. It doesn't anymore. That's my take.
I had to bring it up because
thanks.
we're in Lincoln and you brought it up. Empyrean is busy during the games and
Oh, this is a great place
If
to
you-
go before the game.
Right.
For sure.
If
Right.
you're not familiar with Lincoln, Nebraska, if you're outside of Nebraska, on Husker game day, Memorial Stadium is the third largest city in the
Yes.
state.
Yes,
Is
that's
that true?
It
So
is.
there are more people in Memorial Stadium on game day than any place else in this. The third
Yeah.
largest any place else in the state
I think we
outside
still
of
have
Lincoln, Omaha.
We still have like the sold out record.
Well,
Division
we'll
I
see.
football.
Yeah, we'll see
We'll
about that.
find out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Here's the other good thing about going to the game. There are tap rooms. Let me just name them off that are close. There's Empyrean.
Yep.
There's Kincaidor.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's Zipline. There's White Elm.
Yeah.
There's Boiler.
Yes.
So that's 5
Oh.
within walking distance of
The
the
boiler
stadium.
in the downstairs, right? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's a great place.
trying to think. There might be some more, but those are the ones I can think of off the very tip of my brain.
Well, you can go to if you want like a variety. There's Hopcat. That's right there.
Hopcat's right down the street.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's got
Hopcat, yeah.
like 90 some different craft
Yep.
beers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's probably the one location that you don't want me doing Tripadvisor on. I might be the Karen or Kyle of that
Really?
one. Yeah.
Really?
I never
I've-
had a good time there.
Really?
They don't. Here, okay, we're on a tangent.
Here we go.
Okay.
11 o'clock games. We have a lot of them because we suck.
Right.
They don't open until 12.
Stupid. That's so stupid.
Till 12.
They should change that.
2 years in a row, it's been
two
that way.
blocks down, a block over and a block over are those giant TVs.
Yeah,
right?
you go to the rail yard. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. You can go.
Yep.
You can go there and
Rail yard's
they
cool.
got beer flowing over there.
Across the street from the rail yard, one of my favorite pizza places.
Oh, the Mushroom.
Mellow Mushroom.
Oh.
So good. Which I
Interesting.
found out was a chain.
It
I
is,
didn't, I
yeah.
didn't know. I thought it was just, it's less special, but still great. So if
Yep.
there's a Mellow Mushroom in your area,
Go check it
Nice.
out.
go check it out.
It's like hippie pizza.
Yeah. Sports bar at the same time.
It's a weird mix.
Yeah.
But hey, it's college town
Oh, pizza.
and beer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Those go together.
And
All right.
football.
Well,
Even better.
those three go together.
That's the icing on the cake right there.
Untapped 2,600 check-ins for this beer for
Okay.
the Aries Marzen.
Have I checked it in?
You have not checked this
surprising.
in. No. Our friend Justin, friend of the show, Justin, has checked it in.
Okay.
You actually, you have not.
Weird. I know I've had it before. I'll go
I'm going to double check the check. I'm going to double check.
3 point. Let's see. Oh, when were we last good? 2000. 3.20.
Okay.
I'm playing the math game.
I'm going 346.
Okay.
358. Good 3.5.
right.
Nothing wrong with that.
3.5.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's
I
probably
will-
about where I'd land.
I'm going at least 375. What did
Not
I say?
even-
375.
Okay, I lied. You did check this in.
What year?
2014.
There you go.
And then again in 2011. Before that.
That was like when the Watchmen came out.
Wow.
Oh, good call.
Dude, I'm an old schooler.
It doesn't say where. I assume there. Okay, wait a minute. And consistently, you scored it the same.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what your score was?
375.
4.
Oh,
You
that's
gave
where I
it-
would go with it today.
Both times you gave it a 4.
I was 14 in 2011.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Friend of the show, Justin, has checked it in twice. He just said good. There we go,
Good. It is good.
It is
I mean,
good.
if you want a one-word descriptor, good.
Here's what's nice. Empyrean toasts all of the check-ins.
Some places have a guy on staff or a gal that goes in there, and you know what? Those feel good.
Yeah,
I don't
love
care
it.
if they do it to everybody. Whatever. It just feels nice.
One of my favorite places in Colorado to eat is called Wapiti, which is
Oh, yeah.
the
county.
Yeah, and it means elk, I believe.
Oh, okay.
in a Native American language, and I can't
Okay.
remember which. Anyway, I always check in beers there because Maddox likes to see my little logo on the screen.
Oh, on the bottom of the TV?
Yeah,
Like they have a
he'll
cross
wait.
train. Yep.
Yeah, and so we check in the beers or whatever. So, and the guy that runs the place always cheers every time he toasts my
That's
or whatever.
amazing.
He came to our table last time and he was like, "Oh, you really like that beer?" Because I gave it a 5, and
Yeah.
I don't really give 5s to a lot of beers, but
That's true.
yeah. And he's like, "Here, let me get you another one or whatever. This is on us." I'm like, "Boom, score!"
All 5.
Yep, 5.
Swipe
I
left.
think you've just released a hack or like a cheat code.
That's
like,
great.
I'm going to start doing this.
I see, but that was a good lesson back to my son. It's like, look, just 1, I was honest, and 2, I was nice, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
look what happens if you're good and honest, and
You get a free beer.
you get free beers out of the deal.
And those taste better. I don't know why, but they do.
Yeah.
Jenny was okay with it.
You know what? You had to do it for your son.
She wanted to go hiking.
He got a
and
kick out
I'm
of
like,
it.
yeah, but I got a free beer.
Yeah.
It was a slow hike. So what? You had to stop a couple times.
I peed in the woods a couple times.
So do bears. That's fine.
Oh, hey. Good morning.
there we
She's
go.
calling us now.
No, the free beer thing, totally true. I've said on the show before that one of my least. Okay, I just don't like this beer. I like the brewery. I don't like the beer. Is the Jam Band
Oh yeah, Boulevard.
Oh, Boulevard.
Boulevard? Okay,
I like that one.
I can't do it. I don't know. I'm not a berry type person, raspberries especially. But I had a buddy just not too long ago. I was hanging out with him, and he's like, "Hey, you want a beer?" I'm like, cool. And he's like, "I got these jam bands. They're really good."
Nope.
And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll have one." And I drank it. I powered. It was free. It was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
You can't turn down a free beer.
No,
My
it took
dad
me
always
longer to
said,
drink,
that'd
but
be rude.
yeah,
Yep.
Somebody offers you a beer, you drink it.
you drink it.
That neighbor across the street, man, I've lived in this house for 3 years now. I've been trying to get him into craft beer. He's a Miller Lite guy. And I show up, I'll walk over in his driveway, he's mowing, "Hey, you want a beer?" Hell yeah, I do. I don't like Miller Lite at all. It tastes metallic. I don't know what's but I'll drink that beer with him all day.
Yep.
I have a neighbor to my backyard who's the same way, but with Bud Light. He's like, "Hey, man, anytime you want to come stand at the fence and talk and drink a beer, I'm down." He's like, I'll give you a beer. I'm like, "Okay, I'll drink a Bud Light."
But even those taste better.
Yeah, they taste great.
Yeah.
And yeah, one day I brought out, I can't remember what I think it was the Portal juice.
Oh,
Cross-strain
yeah.
portal juice.
10% at him. He knocked him over.
No, I brought it to the fence and I was drinking it and I was like, "Hey, you want one of these? Is that one of them IPAs?" I'm like,
Sure is.
"Yes, it is." "I don't like IPAs. I'll stick to my good old Bud Light." I'm like, "Go for it."
Look,
right.
if you know what you like,
Yeah.
keep drinking it. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that.
Now I want a Portal juice. Dang it, Dolan.
I've got
Nice.
3 left. That's it.
Here's what I know. We've got 2 more weeks of Oktoberfest. 2 more.
Okay.
And then we're going to go back to pumpkin beers, right?
Ooh, no laptops.
R.I.P. Rich's laptop from last year.
Yeah.
That unfortunately I dumped a whole pumpkin beer. Thanks, Westo.
Uh-huh.
That was a good beer.
It was a good beer.
It was a really good beer.
Not filtered through the keyboard.
My
though.
MacBook did not like it whatsoever. No, it died.
It got wasted.
Yeah, it did. It did. And then it drove itself into a tree.
Oh, no.
Right.
Not good.
Luckily,
RIP.
the only casualty that day was the MacBook. So, yeah, it was. It still smells like pumpkin a little bit, actually. So,
That's rough.
anyway, so 2 more weeks of Oktoberfest, 2 more weeks of pumpkin beers. Then we got some spooky beers.
Yeah, so we might have a crossover with one of our other podcasts.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, check out our other podcasts.
They'll be on our podcast, Healthcare Horrors.
Yeah.
We'll be on their podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, we're getting all stabby in here.
Well, more like injecty.
Oh, God, even worse.
Fantastic. So until then, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.